Okay, so good morning, students. Once again, welcome back to our Little Flower School online classes. In our last video, we have started the chapter Force and Pressure, and we have discussed the different aspects of force, effects of force, and then how a force applied on a body, under what condition it can cause rotatory motion. Then we have also learned what is movement of force and the various aspects and consequences of movement of force. Then next one we have discussed pressure, definition, SI unit, and consequences of pressure exerted by solid, then pressure exerted by liquid. So in continuation to that, we know that the pressure exertion is just because of force acting per unit area, normal force acting per unit area. So like solids and liquids exert pressure, the difference is what solid exerts the pressure only in downward direction, whereas liquid exerts pressure in all the directions. Similarly, gases. Gas is also one type of a matter, one state of a matter. They are also consist of molecules. They also possess mass, so they have some weight. So they also exert pressure. But similarly, just like liquid, the gases also exert pressure in all directions. Then what is atmospheric pressure? What is the concept of atmospheric pressure? So we all know that our Earth is covered with an envelope of different type of gases. A different type of gases is surrounding our planet Earth from all the sides. Now these gases which are surrounding or forming an envelope around the Earth, they are pulled by the Earth's gravitational force. So as a result of that, they exert some force on the surface of the Earth. Then the measure of the force exerted by these gases on the surface of Earth is the cause of atmospheric pressure. So basically atmosphere is what? Atmosphere is defined as an envelope of gases surrounding the Earth, and now the force exerted by them when it is measured per unit area on the surface of Earth, then it is termed as atmospheric pressure. So the atmospheric pressure is defined as the force exerted by atmosphere per unit area on the surface of Earth. Per unit area on the surface of Earth. Mathematically, 1 atm, 1 atmospheric pressure is equal to 1,01,325 Pascal. This is the relation between the atmospheric pressure and SI unit of pressure. That normally at the sea level, the pressure exerted by our atmosphere is equal to 1,01,325 Pascal. But for numerical purpose, approximately we take its value 1 lakh Pascal. So 1 lakh Pascal is the value we have to remember for numerical purpose. Either you remember it or it will be provided also in the numericals whenever it is asked. So once again, the force exerted by our atmosphere per unit area on the surface of Earth is called atmospheric pressure. And it happens because our Earth is surrounded by an envelope of different type of gases which are pulled by the Earth's gravitational force towards the surface of the Earth. Next one is, and this atmospheric pressure is acting everywhere, whether you are inside a room or whether you are outside in a ground, and it acts in all the directions. And now the most important thing is, we are always under this tremendous pressure of around 1 lakh Pascal. So question arises, like if you exert a force on a balloon, it gets compressed, or even it bursts after some time, after the extent when you cross a limit. Then how we are able? Why we don't feel uneasy under such tremendous atmospheric pressure acting on our body? The very basic question. When we all are always, all the time, everywhere under such a tremendous pressure exerted by our atmosphere, then why do we don't feel uneasy? Why we don't have any kind of changes in our body? So reason is what? See, our blood, the blood used to exert a pressure equal to the atmospheric pressure in outward direction. This atmospheric pressure is acting on our body in inward direction all the time. Then at the same time, the blood in our vessels, they exert the pressure equal to atmospheric pressure in outward direction. So as a result of that, these two pressures used to counterbalance each other, and this is the reason why the net pressure acting on our body, or the net pressure which we feel on our body, is negligible. We don't say zero. It is because atmospheric pressure tends to vary from place to place. Same with the body pressure also. So we will say negligible, and this is the reason why we don't feel uneasy. So this is the answer for the question: why we don't feel uneasy when such a tremendous pressure is acting all the time on our body, and why we don't have any kind of adverse effect on our body. It is just because of our pressure exerted by our blood going in our vessels in outward direction. Next one is how to prove the existence of atmospheric pressure. How to prove the existence of atmospheric pressure as well as the effect of atmospheric pressure. For that, we have so many examples. We will go with the first one. Let us consider. Take a tin can provided with an opening mouth. We will take a tin can, made up of thin layer of tin or aluminum or something. Then it is having an opening, narrow opening mouth. From here you pour water and fill the tin can partially, not completely, partially. Let me have poured the water up to this level. Now after doing this, you put it on a try stand and just start heating the water filled in the tin can with the help of a burner. What will happen? The water inside the can will start absorbing heat and its temperature will start increasing. After some time, when it will reach the boiling point, then we will observe the formation of steam above the surface of water. Once the water has started boiling, it means the air which was present inside the vacant portion has been pushed in outward direction. Just remove the burner, tightly cover the opening mouth and pour cold water. What we have done, first we have taken a tin can, we have filled partially with water, then we have started heating it. Once we have observed or we have seen the formation of steam, then we have closed the mouth tightly and then we have poured cold water. Now the moment you will pour the cold water, what will happen? You will observe that this tin can used to get crushed. The tin can has gone crushed. Now what is the reason? We have not applied any force externally. Simply we have done what? We have poured cold water, and what we observed that the tin can has used to gone crushed. Reason is what? The moment we have observed the formation of steam and we have closed the mouth, and when we have poured the cold water, this steam collected in this portion has gone condensed, and as a reason of that, this particular portion has gone vacuum created. This particular portion has gone vacuum, and as a result of that, the only pressure which is acting on the can is in inward direction due to the atmospheric pressure. The outward pressure has suddenly become zero, and the inward pressure is equal to 1 atmospheric pressure. So as a result of that, the tin can used to get crushed. So this is what, when the can was filled with air inside normally, then they were exerting a pressure in outward direction because, as I told, atmospheric pressure acts in all the directions. So the air inside is exerting the pressure equal to 1 atm in outward. On the surface of the can from outside, 1 atm in inward. So they were balancing each other. The moment we have poured cold water, it has the steam has gone condensed. So they have created a vacuum here. As a result, the outward pressure has gone negligible or zero. So the only pressure acting was in inward direction. So due to this pressure, the tin can used to get crushed. So this is one example which easily proves the existence of atmospheric pressure. Otherwise, you might have played many times. You take a plastic water bottle, empty plastic water bottle. Empty means water is not filled or any liquid, otherwise it is filled with air. This is suppose the shape of the bottle. Normally we used to have like this. You might have seen this slurry or aquafina. Now, in normal condition, this is the shape of the bottle because it is filled with air. Now put the mouth of the bottle near your lips and suck the air. What you observe? The moment you suck the air, the bottle used to get crushed. Why? Again, the same reason. Normally, it is filled with air. The moment you have sucked it by putting it near your mouth, you have sucked the air outside. You have created a vacuum here. So the only pressure acting is atmospheric pressure in inward direction. Because of that, the bottle used to get crushed. So this is the concept, or the example is proof the existence of atmospheric pressure. And after knowing this, we have implemented this concept on a wide scale. For example, you might have seen that astronauts, when they used to go in space, they used to wear a special kind of suit. They used to wear a special kind of suit. What is the reason? For that, we need to understand first what are the factors on which the atmospheric pressure depends. So as I have told you, 1 atm is equal to around approximately 1 lakh Pascal. It is at sea level. Okay, it is at sea level. The maximum atmospheric pressure acting on the surface is at the sea level, and it is measured approximately equal to 1 lakh Pascal. Now, what happens? The atmospheric pressure is inversely proportional to the altitude. It means the pressure is maximum when you are on the surface of Earth, and the time you start going above the surface of the Earth, the atmospheric pressure tends to decrease. The atmospheric pressure tends to decrease. It means it depends upon the density of the atmospheric gases. So we know that the denser gases are always near the surface, and the lighter one rises in upward direction. So the time you will start moving in upward direction, the density of the gases will decrease, so the pressure will also decrease. Now, if you keep on moving like that, a time will come where the density of the gases will become negligible. It means the atmospheric pressure will become zero. But we are designed like that. Our blood is all the time exerting a force equal to 1 lakh Pascal in outward direction. So if simply you go out in space without wearing any kind of suit like normally this time we are, what will happen? In space there is no air, it is vacuum totally, there is no atmosphere, so there is no inward pressure, but there also all the time your blood is exerting pressure equal to 1 atmospheric in outward direction. So what will happen? As a result of this, only unbalanced outward pressure exerted by our blood means our body will burst. We will burst out. So this is the reason why whenever the astronauts used to go out of a space station for some activities, they always wear a special kind of suit. And the purpose of that suit is to maintain the artificial pressure, atmospheric pressure, inward atmospheric pressure equal to 1 atm, so that it can counterbalance the pressure exerted by our blood. So this is what one of the important implementation of the concept of atmospheric pressure. That after knowing that only we are able to make a suit which can protect our body or our astronauts. Next one, there are so many examples, like you might have seen lizards, how they are able to efficiently walk on a wall. So if you observe their paws, they are hollow from inside. So whenever they walk on a vertical wall, they used to press it on the surface. So when they press it on a surface, suppose it is like this, hollow, like you might have seen a toy gun having a rubber part like this. So when you press it on a surface, they will throw out the air inside. Now the only pressure acting on them will be the atmospheric pressure in inward direction. So that will help them to get balance, to get stuck with the surface. So the same phenomena is used by the lizard. It means lizards use the property of the atmospheric pressure for moving efficiently over the vertical walls without falling down. So these are the various examples, and many more are there where you can prove the existence of atmospheric pressure. So what we have to remember, the pressure exerted by the atmosphere on the surface of Earth is called atmospheric pressure, and the measure is the force exerted by atmosphere per unit area on the surface of Earth is atmospheric pressure. And mathematically, 1 atmospheric pressure is equal to approximately 1 lakh Pascal, and the atmospheric pressure decreases with increase in height. The more you move above the surface of the Earth, the lesser will be the atmospheric pressure. You can take another example. We have seen sometimes when people used to go above the mountains, what happens? some of the mountaineers used to have nose bleeding. Reason is what? Very simple. When you are at the surface of Earth, your blood is exerting 1 lakh pascal in outward direction to balance the inward atmospheric pressure. When you start moving up the mountain, still your blood is exerting pressure equal to 1 lakh, but now the atmospheric pressure is less than somewhere 1 lakh. So as a result of that, the resultant pressure is in outward direction, and because of that, the mountaineers used to have the problem of nose bleeding. So these are the consequences of atmospheric pressure. Now, how to measure? Like any physical quantity, we always used to measure it. So how to measure the atmospheric pressure? So the very basic instrument which is used to measure the atmospheric pressure is barometer. The device which is used to measure the atmospheric pressure is barometer, and the first simple barometer was designed by an Italian scientist called Evangelisto Torricelli. So that's why it is also called sometimes Torricellian barometer or a simple barometer. Now, what is a barometer? What was the simple construction and working of a simple barometer? The Torricelli has taken one narrow glass tube of length 100 centimeters. Then he filled this tube completely with mercury up to the neck. First, he has taken a narrow glass cylindrical tube, test tube of length 100 centimeters, and then he filled it completely with mercury. Then he has taken a trough which is filled with also mercury, and then he closed the opening mouth of this tube with the thumb, and then inverted it and placed it inside this mercury. The trough is filled with mercury. What happened? First, he observed that the mercury level used to decrease up to a particular length, and then further it stopped. It means the length for which the pressure exertion has balanced the atmospheric pressure, it has stopped falling down, and here a vacuum is created which is called Torricelli vacuum. It is called what? Torricelli vacuum. Now, this particular length was then measured and it was found it was equal to 76 centimeters. It means the pressure exerted by 76 centimeter length of mercury is equal to 1 atmospheric pressure. It means 1 atmospheric pressure is equal to 76 centimeter of mercury column. The pressure exerted by 76 centimeter length of mercury column is equal to 1 atmospheric pressure. So this is how the first simple barometer was constructed, and it was used to measure the atmospheric pressure. And the vacuum created due to the falling of the mercury here was called Torricellian vacuum. It is called Torricellian vacuum, and it was designed by Torricelli. Now, the question came the next time that why we use mercury only as a barometric fluid? Why we cannot substitute by any other type of liquid? Suppose the commonly available is water. The commonly available is water. Commonly asked question, why we use, like in 6th class you might have studied, or 7th, that why mercury is used as a thermometric fluid. Why in thermometer we use always mercury? Why we don't use any other liquid? So here also this common question is asked, why we always use mercury as a barometric fluid? Why we don't use water or any other liquid? So let us compare with the water. So we'll go for the advantage of mercury over water to be used as a barometric fluid. So first one is the density. The density of mercury is somewhere 13.6 grams per cubic centimeter, whereas water it is 1 gram per cubic centimeter. So this is the first reason, because we always prefer a liquid which is having very high density. Why? Because of this high density, the length of mercury can balance 1 atmospheric pressure is only 76 centimeters. It means if you construct a barometer, you need to have a cylindrical glass tube of maximum length 76 centimeters. So it is portable, compact, easily to be transferred from one place to another place as compared to water. Because of this, the length required to balance is somewhere around 10.5 meters. Imagine we have made a barometer using water and its tube is of length 10.5 meters. So you can find out how easy it is, how easily we can transfer it from, how portable it is, how easily we can carry it from one place to another. So this is another reason. Third most reason is when we construct a barometer, so a vacuum is created called Torricellian vacuum. So the mercury does not use to vaporize in a vacuum. Mercury does not use to vaporize in vacuum, whereas water starts vaporizing. Water starts vaporizing, and because of this, we will have the possibility of error while taking the reading. Because of evaporation, the length will decrease, and then we will have error while measuring the pressure. So, and the fourth one, mercury is opaque in nature, so it is very easy to take the reading, whereas water is transparent in nature. Fifth one, mercury does not stick with the surface, whereas water used to stick with the surface. Again, it will cause error while taking the reading. Sixth one, mercury is easily available in pure state, whereas it is very difficult to have water in pure state. Always, so we will have some impurity, and then again the presence of impurity will change the density, and then we will have some changes in the reading. So these are the reasons why we always use mercury as a barometric fluid as compared to water. So in our syllabus, we have from this chapter up till here. In our next video, we will go with the exercise. We will discuss various types of reasoning type questions as well as numerical. So thank you for today, and again we will meet in the next session.